Hey everyone, this is Andy from GizChina, and today we're looking at the DOOGEE DG900 Turbo 2. This is DOOGEE's next flagship phone, and it's a similar phone to the GIONI eLife S5.1 and also the UMi Zero. So we're looking at quite a nice looking 5-inch phone with slim design. It's not exactly the same as either of those phones, and I will compare it with the UMi Zero in this hands-on. Anyway, let's have a look at the box before we take a look at the actual phone. We've got this rather basic looking cardboard box. It looks like a Xiaomi box with the natural cardboard finish and the simple drawing of the phone on the front. And on the rear we've got some specifications, and you can see that DOOGEE are after the international market with this phone. We've got English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian and German on here, along with Arabic. And the specifications that UMi are telling us for this phone are a 5-inch Full HD display. It's an OGS IPS display. It's got an octa-core 1.7 GHz processor, and we know that is a MediaTek MT6592. We've got Android 4.4 KitKat, WCDMA and GSM support, but no LTE. We've got 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of memory, space for a micro SD card of up to 64 GB, and also the camera specs here, which say 18 megapixel rear and 8 megapixel front. Now, what we'll probably find with the DOOGEE DG900 Turbo 2 is that the rear camera is in fact a 13 megapixel and the front a 5, but still pretty good specs. Okay, let's take the top off. So we open up the box, and inside, first thing we see, we've got this envelope here, and inside that we've got a screen protector. Let's have a look at this. So we've actually got these hard screen protectors which come with the phone. Tempered glass screen protectors, front and rear, I look, which is a nice surprise. Front and rear, you can see we've got this cutout here for the rear camera. So that's quite a nice little feature. These tempered glass protectors are very popular now for aftermarket. A lot of people are buying them for their phones. But if you do buy the DOOGEE DG900 Turbo 2, you get them free with the phone. Very, very nice. We've got the phone itself here, which we'll take a look at in a moment, if I can get it out. Instruction manual. Simple instruction manual, again, in lots of different languages. So you can see that DOOGEE are definitely going after the international market here. So far I've not seen any Chinese language at all on the box or in the instruction book. What else do we have? Let's pull this out. Got a European charger there for charging the phone up. DOOGEE branded charger. Got a SIM tray tool mover there. Micro USB cable and some earphones. Yeah, just basic DOOGEE earphones. And we've got this SIM tray remover tool as well. Okay, so not too much in the box. You know, there's no cases or anything in there, but those tempered glass protectors are a really nice little addition to the packaging. Anyway, so here's the phone itself. It's a 5-inch phone, 1920 by 1080 display. We've got a white and gold finish to the phone. And any of you who have seen the GIONI eLife S5.1 will automatically recognize the design of this phone, especially to the rear, with this cutout here around the rear camera. Now, when DOOGEE started to promote the DG900 Turbo 2, around the same time UMi also had their UMi Zero promotion going on, and a lot of us thought maybe that these phones were exactly the same device, perhaps made in the same factory. But actually, when you get them up close next to each other, they're very, very different. I'll just bring in the UMi Zero. You can see the Zero is, you know, obviously all black for a start, but the Zero is actually a very thin and smooth design. You can see there's no bulge where the screen is, whereas the DOOGEE 900 has a bulging out screen there, like a recessed bezel, if you like, similar to the OnePlus One. The Zero is actually a thinner design, slightly thinner, and the Zero is made of aluminium, whereas the DOOGEE is made of plastic. So although they do look similar on photos, they're a little bit different in the flesh. I have to say, between the two here in my hand, the Zero feels a lot better. Anyway, let's have a look again at the DOOGEE 900. So this front screen is a 5-inch display, it's 1920 by 1080. It's an IPS display, which should give us really nice viewing angles. And it's also OGS, meaning that they've been able to make a thinner display which touches, with a nice touch response. We've also got this front-facing camera there, which according to the specifications is an 8 megapixel. And we should have capacitive buttons along there, and we'll take a look at that in a moment when I turn it on. Around the sides, the left-hand side, we've got a power button and volume rocker on this gold edge. This is plastic. It looks like metal, but it's plastic. The base, we've got a micro USB. At the top, we've got a 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the right-hand side, we've got just here a space for a micro SIM. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open that up because we'll check if it's in here. You should also be able to place the SD card. Yeah, you can see we can put an SD card and micro SIM in there. In fact, like a lot of phones, we can either choose 2 SIM cards or a micro SD and a SIM card. So you've got a few options there. On the back as well, another feature which DOOGEE like to add to some of their phones is a rear touch panel. So here, this we can actually use this to control the front-facing camera or rear camera for that matter. And again, I'll show you that in action in a moment. Okay, so DOOGEE are running Android 4.4 KitKat on the DOOGEE DG900 Turbo 2. It has a different UI. It's not a standard Android look to it. So, that's either something you're going to love or hate about that. The UI is similar to, those found on Jiayu or Zoppo phones. So if you're used to those, you'll be used to what you find on the DOOGEE. We've got our home screen here, and obviously we can add different home screens for different applications. And all our apps are here in the app tray. In here you can see we've got the Google Play Store, so you don't need to worry about rooting the phone as soon as you get it and installing Google services. It's already all in there, so you can just put in your settings and password and start downloading straight away. Okay, if we just head back into the home screen, you can see we've got these 3 capacitive buttons along the chin of the phone which are backlit. Now you can see, I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but they do leak light from around the edges of the icon. So they're not particularly neat looking, but at least they're there so you can use the phone easily at night or in low light conditions. If we head into the settings, the first things that we see, we've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and HotNot. Now HotNot is basically MediaTek's version of NFC. And if you have another device with a HotNot feature, what you can do is you can turn that on, put the 2 HotNot devices together, and you'll be able to pass information, photos and things, just like you can with NFC, but HotNot to HotNot. Also in here, we've got wake gestures. We've got double tap to wake on the black screen, and also quick start for different applications. So for example, we can draw a circle and the camera will open up. But these don't seem to be working just yet. So if I just turn the screen off and double tap, oh, okay, it's working now. Before I tried it and it wasn't working. Let's try that again. Yeah, you see? Oh, there you go. So it's a bit hit and miss. Double tap's there, but it's not working all the time. But hopefully an update will sort that out. Also, we've got movement gestures, which I guess is something like the Color OS features where you can move the phone around to open up different features. It's not something that I've ever used, to be honest. Touch key. So touch key says when you open touch key, you can quickly start the camera and use the touch key stop recording. So let's have a look. That's the rear touch on here, so let's turn that on. And we should be able to, if I tap the rear, no? Okay, so that rear touch is meant to activate the rear camera. Let's try that again. Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything. So yeah, another little feature there that isn't quite working on the DOOGEE yet. So the rear touch panel, again, I'm not sure if that's something that many of you will actually use, but the feature is there, so I expect it to work. Let's check that again. Yeah, it's not working. Anyway, so yeah, something to be aware of when you get the phone, that won't be working straight away. Everything else looks very similar to Android 4.4 on any other phone. You can see it's 4.4.2 on the DOOGEE DG900 Turbo 2. And that's about it. I won't go over the other features just yet. I'll wait for the full review. I'll do some camera samples and other features. So far, my first impressions are it's not a bad looking phone. But I think DOOGEE were a little bit unfortunate that they launched this at the same time UMi launched their Zero. This recessed bezel, the sticking out screen design, which gives the recessed bezel, makes the phone feel chunky in your hand. These black line around the screen, along with the bezel and the gold body, really make the phone much wider than it is. And I'm not convinced that it is a full 5-inch display. It might actually be more like 4.9 or 4.8. But overall, it's a nice looking phone. It isn't the best looking for the money. It all comes down to your personal preference. Speed so far seems pretty good. There's a few bugs that need to be sorted out, but that's quite common, isn't it, on a few of these Chinese phones. But anyway, what I'll do, like I say, I'll do a full review, so keep your eyes open for that. I'm also going to do a comparison between this and the UMi Zero as well, and so keep your eyes out for that as well. Head over to GizChina now. You'll find a write-up of this unboxing along with my first impressions, and stay tuned for more videos, hands-on and reviews from us. So see you all soon. Goodbye.